Sul, hello, and Labus. Welcome to another episode of the Pain Family Ultimate Decades Challenge. The year is 1391. It's day 3. It's Tuesday, and we're here starting with the Sirens, the mermaids, the mer people, where Frida is in fact in labor as soon as I load it in. And this is gonna raise some complications that we'll get into in a moment. Oh my gosh, look at her. Look at her with her belly, but also look at her posing like that. She's like, what is this? Frida's in a bit of a tough position because nobody here has had a child before, so this is a risky moment. This is a risky moment because anything could happen. Oh god, it's happening. Okay, Frida, go. You can do this. You've got this, Frida. I hope. It's kind of gross that those crickets are right there. They look really gross on this. Have you guys ever eaten crickets before? I know it's a bit off topic, but it's a question I have. Okay, so it's a girl. I've decided that any kid she has with Kai will keep their mother's name, and the first name I chose for a potential child is the name Elowin. Twins? Oh no. Oh gosh, okay, a second name is the name Lyris for a girl. Oh my goodness. Are you screaming? The werewolf scream? Okay, so this is something we've got to talk about. Where's the other child? Oh dear. Okay, so here's the thing. I did test ahead of time. I had excuse me. I had Frida go into labor. I had her have the baby, and sorry, I aged it up until I could tell what kind of an occult it was. And originally it was going to be a merfolk, but now it's a werewolf, which leads me to believe that there's no way to predict what occult it will be later. And that's a problem because I've come up with roles based off of, essentially, based off of what do I think that the occult will be. So their roles are dependent on what their occult is. And so if it is a random chance that isn't decided until they are actually born about are they a merfolk or are they a werewolf, that's going to cause some problems. Unless I guess I could always just delete the bassinet so there's never anyone hanging around and then they will get naturally born into the correct bassinet. Is that true? I guess I'm gonna go ahead and do the werewolf roles, but I'm counting Frida as being an occult for the purposes of if she has werewolf babies, it's because of her own genes. So I feel like she should have the werewolf, like the occult parent roles as well. So for her to survive this these births, she just has to avoid rolling the numbers 1, 2, and 15. That's it. Shut the front door. What about the second baby? Oh my gosh, so it's the first time mother roll that just got her. Well, we can plead. She's never been pled for before, but that's unnerving, I won't lie. And then the babies, if they are werewolves, they have a reduced risk at birth, according to my modified rules for them. So the babies cannot roll the numbers 1, 7, 12, 15, or 20. So baby number 1 and baby number 2. So both of the daughters survive, but Frida is going to need to be pled for. So there's a family reunion going on as well as it being Midsummer's Festival. That's just the way that the cookie crumbles. Oh my gosh, this baby just being out in the baking sun. Imagine. Frida, you might need to go and feed her. But if originally the child was a mer person, but then when it just came out, it's a werewolf, that means that what occult it is isn't determined until they come out. So the only way I can figure that that would work out is if I delete the bassinets between each time so that we always know based off of the bassinet which one it is. But yeah. Oh, that's cute. She's just over here building a sandcastle by herself. Oh my gosh, they haven't had their first kiss? Can you give her a gift? Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. I don't know where you got that from. Kiss and make up. They're upset because of stupid prom. Stupid prom, but we're having a bit of a family get together today. And so some of the other pod are here visiting. I don't know where everyone is. He's just out here in the water hanging around, but they have another brother, and I don't know where that guy is currently. Hey, I queued up a lot of stuff. Um, oh gosh, I don't really know what to do about this. This wasn't how I expected things to go. Well, I guess in the meantime, while I'm trying to figure out what that will look like in the future, what it means is that they've had their first baby and the babies were fine. The werewolf rules I've come up with are a little bit lighter on terms of risk for the babies, and much higher risk for a human sim. Like if a human sim tries to bring a werewolf child into this world, it's pretty risky for them. I don't know. Now I feel like I'm a bit confused about what that means for the future if they come out a random occult at birth. I guess I'll just have to keep an eye on it over time. Like, I don't really know. I don't really know. Oh gosh. But Frida did just fail that roll, even though it was a less risky roll, and it was because of the first time mother roll. And so I'm going to put it off until the end of. Yeah, you can like fitness, bro. I'm gonna put it off until the end of here. You can give him a tulip. That's kind of sweet. And then you can be thankful. I guess you can reach out for help. That's nice. I don't know why you would need to apologize. Liv, do you want to get some food? I don't really get why everybody's just lurking around. It's kind of weird. Bro, come over here. Now, another thing is that it's a really popular idea that the mer people will have. Oh, it's also a popular idea that the mer people will. Oh my gosh, dude. Why are you yelling at her? Oh, Kai. I don't like that, Kai. You're done here. I think that what I'm going to have Frida do instead, now that she's, well, I'm going to plead for her and hopefully we're going to be successful. But I guess you never know. Where is our mailbox? There it is. Why don't you go ahead and send a thank you card home? She's sending it to her mom. So Frida has had her mother on her mind a lot lately. She actually, so the spell of being here is kind of fading at this point in time. She's not quite as enthralled with everything. She's kind of starting to see that perhaps everything isn't exactly as she originally thought. And so she's been dreaming a lot of home, of her family, of her mother, of her parents, of her brother, and she's got this yearning to go back home. And that was already on my mind even before Kai just yelled at her for no reason, which is wild. What are you two up to over here? Oh, Kai's at least interacting with his children. You could bounce, rock, cuddle, kiss her forehead, etc., etc. So Frida's kind of been thinking about going home lately. She's got that like instinct inside of her. She really wants to go home. She came to kind of her sense of herself and realized perhaps this isn't exactly where she wants to be. And I think now that she's had children just suddenly, and also now that things are kind of souring between her and Kai, I think that that sense is getting even stronger. Do you want to, I don't know, you can give her a gift of some firewood, I guess. That's very thoughtful. And you can be thankful. Oh, hey, Coral. Oh, thanks for helping. You can discuss healthy relationships and family lineage, I guess. But I wasn't expecting Frida to really make a plan about leaving or think about leaving for quite a few years. So it is a little bit shocking that one, she just failed that role, and two, that Kai just randomly yelled at her out of nowhere. Now, the fact that these children came out as werewolves causes an issue because there was a suggestion that mer people would have a seahorse pregnancy, which I think is an interesting idea, but now there's a few complicating factors to this. one of the complicating factors is that it gets weird when it comes to mixed occults, for example. Like, we know that Liv is a werewolf, but she doesn't know that she's a werewolf. And Nerion, who's a mer person. So that's going to automatically get more complicated, because what does that mean in their situation? Second, it'll make it like really hard to keep track of in the game. And now that we know that their occult isn't decided until the exact moment that they are born, there's now no way to sort of like predict who should be carrying the child if it is a mixed occult situation. Like, if Liv and Narian have a child together, bro, you've got to pee so bad. If they have a child together, then we don't know what kind of an occult it'll be. Like, maybe I'm misunderstanding, but that's my thoughts at the moment. Do you want to tell a story to the ladies? I guess the other thing is that there's quite a few suggestions about like the mythology of these guys and the background of these guys. And so I wanted to let you guys know what I was thinking. I was thinking that, as was suggested by one of the comments over on Patreon, that they're very much about respecting nature, and they're willing to punish those who are sort of like harming nature, overfishing, things like that, and also to help out Sims who are kind and respectful to nature. But also, for me, originally, I was mostly inspired by the South American Boto, who can be both harmful or helpful, but generally appears to women to seduce them. And also combined that with like the ancient Greek sirens who lure people to their deaths, of course. However, there was also another suggestion over on Patreon about like Slavic mermaids, who are people who drowned in a lake or river that they are then trapped in for the rest of their existences, and who try to scare people. And I think that can be folded in as well, because there's already a system in my mind where they can go bad, like they can become bad and do harm to others, or be more likely to do harm to others. And so that's already something that could happen over time, which is going to be interesting. Very interesting. Oh my gosh, look at you. Oh yeah, I guess you do need to go for a dip in the water, dang. Oh, thanks for getting that diaper, dude. I think that this is like a joint effort, these children. That's how these guys see it. So I suppose that it makes sense that like Nerian's walking around screeching like that, as well as, I don't know what his puberty thing is, as well as like why they're all going around and sort of like helping out the babies, cleaning up after each other and stuff like that. So hopefully they can raise these children well, especially if, did you not, okay, well that's fine, but you were supposed to be thankful to her and you just ignored me. Good grief. Good grief. So yeah, this will be sort of a group effort raising these children. I think that merfolk children are incredibly precious. They're very rare. It's quite tough for them to be born and to survive for a while. And so any birth of a mer child is important, but of course these guys wouldn't know that these are secretly werewolf children instead. So I guess that'll be a surprise for them later. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. But that reminds me, Frida failed her roll, and so now we've got to go ahead and, oh, plead for her. Why is this happening? Who should plead? I think it's got to be Liv. But I didn't even think about that until just this moment. That means that literally the youngest daughter died because of the trade. The next, Liv failed her roll. She was the second youngest. The next, Rune failed his roll in the plague, and he was the third youngest. And now Frida has just failed this roll as well. So that's literally, it's the very first opportunity that any of them got to fail a roll is when it happened. No! Oh my god. This is not how the story was supposed to go. Oh my gosh, Liv. Frida. This is not okay. This is not okay. This is not okay. Oh my goodness. You guys, I'm tempted to do something to make this not the way that it actually goes. To make this not real. Grim, you monster. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Do we think that mermaids have the capacity to bring people back from the dead? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, on that note, I'm gonna leave these guys here. I'm gonna try and figure out what to do about Frida. Cause I thought she was gonna I thought she was going home. I really thought she was going home, but for now, we'll leave these guys here and I'll see you in the morning at the next household. Oh no. All right, so here we are. It's day 4, it's Wednesday, and we are here with Povilas and his little family. Yesterday, it was actually the baby's birthday to a toddler. He rolled well, and after surviving that plague through a plead and that birthday, it is official. He is now named Vilcus. Look at him down there. He's so cute. Oh my gosh, look at his face. Look at his little face. He's so adorable. I gave him the classic Vilcus hair, of course. Uh-oh. He's being a little bit bratty. Tasman has a second ailment. I already had cured her last one. I loaded in, and she had a second ailment. Oh, no eating yet. We've got a family get-together happening, if you don't mind, madam. Thanks. So these two are in here preparing for the family get-together. I think it's gonna happen at 9. And mostly it'll be Alexis's little family. Oh, we should really add Anna, but can we? No, we cannot. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, start soon. Get ready. No, not yet. If you wouldn't mind just leaving, excuse me, you two. Oh, I meant to tell you guys, I figured out what it is that makes them energized, and it's these Ravasheen, order produce boxes. You can help her out if you want to. I don't know why she's uncomfortable. Oh, because it's dirty in here? Where? Do you want to clean it or just complain about it? I don't see what you think is dirty, dude. And in fact, he doesn't think it's dirty in here. Oh, it's a surface. Can you please clean that like I asked you to? Thank you. You can go clean this with vigor too. Thanks. Thank you for fixing us. We're a bit of a mess. Go ahead and come in, and once our guests get here, we will grab some food. Okay, you're already grabbing food. Tasman, I'm sorry, Swayone, do you want to call everyone to the meal? Thanks. Oh yeah, Raphael. Raphael is here as well. It's been a minute since we've seen him. He still has 2 sons, Ritus, who survived the plague through pleading, and Domus, the twin who didn't fail the plead. So he's here. His wife stayed behind with the younger twin, Domus, so that he would be protected and wouldn't have to travel and stuff, but Raphael came, and Ritus should be here somewhere as well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, there he is, just hanging out down there playing with his toy. I'd have Vilcus play with him, but it's a long way for a little guy to go, so unless he comes over here, I don't think that's gonna happen. Oh my goodness. Oh, she's crying about Vilcus. Vilcus was a bit of a character, wasn't he? You can thank Ludmina for coming. Okay, you can discuss future plans. You can thank your brother for coming. Yeah, there we go. I knew he would have it. Swayoni, oh, you're cleaning. Very unlike you. Very unlike you. So in terms of the historical stuff that's happened, the last campaign was the one where Henry Bolingbroke came and was working with Vitautus as well as the Order against Yogila. And after that, the previous Grandmaster passed away while they were out campaigning, and a new Grandmaster for the Order was eventually elected. He's a guy named Conrad of Wallenrode. He welcomed Vitautus and gave him a residence in Barthenstein, honoring their agreement to work together against Yogila. Because Yogila had stripped Vitautus of his lands, and because Vitautus and Yogila's fathers had worked together to unify and grow Lithuania, but Jogaila then wanted all the power for himself, in case you've forgotten. Now, this Conrad came from a prominent family of the order. His brother was, in fact, a castellan, his nephew was the Archbishop of Riga, and Conrad himself had been a Grand Commander. And so it took a while for Conrad to be elected because some people were not very comfortable with the idea of him being elected. They thought he had too much power and they were a little bit worried that he might change things, but eventually he was. And he also did make quite a few changes to the command structure that increased his authorities. So he put new rules on trade that increased tax revenues, and he acted on complaints against arrogant castellans. And one chronicler wrote of him, "This grandmaster was greatly feared by the castellans and officers of the order, for he did not allow them to use force against their poor subjects. Also, this lord was greatly feared by the neighboring rulers, the dukes, and other nobles." So he kind of consolidated power around himself and used it for, we might say, in some of our perspectives, some good, and also maybe not some good. He used kind of a version of diplomacy that allowed him to exploit the feud between Vytautas and Jogaila to the best of his ability. Very classic. For example, he told Vytautas to wait until Western Crusaders came during the next summer to make any more moves against his cousin. But then he met with Jogaila to try and get everything the order had promised Vytautas from Jogaila instead. He did, however, Grandmaster Conrad, the newest Grandmaster Conrad, I should say, because there was one before him, he did help Vytautas complete an alliance that was important to him because Vytautas had promised his only daughter, Sophia, to the Grand Prince of Moscow, a guy named Vasily, and she needed to get there. So the order sent men to accompany her and make sure that she got there safely. And this alliance actually put a lot of political pressure on Jogaila, so it was a really important alliance to make. Conrad also during this time sent out requests to the great lords of Europe to help with the 1391 summer campaign, and several came, including a guy named Frederick the Quarrelsome, interesting name, huh? He arrived with 500 horsemen, he drank and ate a little, he partied some, and then he went home without actually fighting at all, so that was his choice. Loads of the French came, along with some Englishmen who were led by Thomas Woodcock, and Scots who were led by William Douglas of Nithsdale, which, as you may imagine, created some pretty high tension given, the things before that moment, like the English occupying Scotland, and the French and English being embroiled in the 100 Years' War for so long. So it was a pretty tough and uncomfortable situation. Sure, you know what, Tasman, you do whatever makes you happy. It was a pretty tough and uncomfortable situation. There was a lot of tension between everyone. And after these tensions are super high, William Douglas was killed on a bridge in Königsberg after ably defending himself against four assailants. Some people believe this was an assassination. He was a pretty well-respected warrior, and he was quite good at fighting. So it seemed to a lot of people at the time, a lot of the Scots in particular, that this was an assassination. And so the Scots blamed the English, of course, and rioting started, during which time the French sided with their military and political ally, the Scots. And all of this was happening in a city where normal people live. There was a lot of destruction of property, a lot of fighting. And eventually it took Grandmaster Conrad some time, but he was able to calm everyone down enough that they could march away from the city and go to Trakai. However, when they got to Trakai, they found that Stabby Skirgaila had burned every field and village for miles so that there wasn't anything for the horses to eat, making a march on Vilnius, which was their plan, completely impossible. The Livonian army was also meant to meet up with them, but instead chose to steal, burn, and destroy everything they could from a few untouched districts in the north before going home. Jogaila, of course, wanted to stop all of these forces that were coming after him. He put Polish knights on the Prussian border, but his men were ultimately pushed away by the order. So no major battle broke out during this time. It was just kind of some mistakes or errors or people getting in the wrong place at the wrong time or having minor skirmishes. But in November, Vytautas led another force up the Memel. He captured one city and he besieged Gardinus. And the garrison there was offered surrender for a week, but they refused. And the garrison was a mixed Polish-Lithuanian force. That's important because after a week, they did cave and they did ask for surrender. But at that point, Vitalis's co-commander, which was a guy from the order named Marshal Engelhard, and a guy who had been pretty good friends with Henry Bolingbroke when he was over campaigning, was, I suppose, annoyed that it took them so long to agree to that. So he let Vitalis accept their surrender. He gave Vitalis the Lithuanian prisoners, but then he had all but one of the Polish members of the garrison beheaded. So obviously, like, super chill, right? The capture of Gardinus meant that Stabby Skirgaila's only main holdout left was the city of Vilnius, but he couldn't hope to hold that long without help, so Jogaila ordered his men to go and help his brother. But long story short, it didn't go well. The guy ordered to help was captured, 2,000 of his warriors were killed, and Jogaila then had to send another younger brother to help instead, but that younger brother then died more or less immediately afterwards getting involved. So at this point, the situation is becoming pretty bad for Jogaila. He's noticing that the Order is taking more territory. Vitalis is aligned with the Order, and a lot of Lithuania is loyal to him. And the Order are building castles across the wilderness in Lithuania, which will give them a permanent foothold. He realized that if he could give Vitalis what Vitalis wanted, he could both save his brothers and weaken the Order. Whereas if he couldn't make a deal with Vitalis, he stood to lose a lot. Jogaila knew that Vitalis didn't want to stay in a position underneath the Order, that he didn't really like working with them. And so he knew that if he gave Vitalis back the lands that he'd taken from him and given to his brother Stabby Skirgaila, that would satisfy some of Vitalis's demand for vengeance for his father's death. And he knew that he could make him the Grand Prince of Lithuania, which would give him all the lands that their fathers had taken together, which Jogaila is comfortable with at this point. His only problem now was, one, convincing Vitalis to be willing to work with him after all of the betrayal, and two, getting word to him, because the Order is keeping Vitalis pretty close to them. But that's where we're going to leave things for now. So it's now 5:43 p.m. in the game, which is pretty good, pretty good. Buddy, can you stop mourning for your grandfather? And Povilas, can you go and potty train your son? Now, there's quite a few things that are going on in the background. For example, Esmond's new spouse will arrive on Thursday, which is tomorrow. He will meet her at the church where they are getting married as soon as they are united with each other. In addition, Genevieve is currently waiting to find out what is going to happen about Pompey, but Pompey is leaning towards doing what his father has asked him to do, and his father is in fact arranging for him to meet a possible spouse. Oh my gosh, Wyone, I'm so sorry. Wyone herself is going to be leaving this year. She is taking off after that family get-together. It was kind of a farewell party as well as Vilcas's naming celebration. And she's going to be gone for 5 to 10 years. Swalyoni her life hasn't really started. And partially that's probably my, fault and everything. But also I feel like she's more like free-spirited than a lot of other Sims, and so I'm just gonna put her into like the background Sims and let her live her own life for the next 5 to 10 years of the challenge and see what she gets up to. Because if she meets somebody or gets married or has children or gets a job or whatever, I'm comfortable with her making those decisions for herself. And I feel like she is the kind of Sim who just wants to be let free. So who knows? She could end up with her soulmate or she could find somebody else, but I'll follow her in the background, and anything notable I'll let you guys know about, of course. Other than that, oh my gosh, it was not a good year for background roles, let me just tell you. In terms of the background events, the things that have happened are that Frida's babies were not the only twins born somehow. I was at the brewer's house. Piper went into labor again, and she also had twins. It was twin boys. Luckily, Piper was fine, and the second of the twins was fine, a boy named Rowan, but the first one did not survive. She and Gregory have one more baby try left, so
Nubu.
hopefully Rowan goes pretty okay
Ayopi.
and the next baby try goes
Flip to
okay.
save.
In addition, Briar brewer. Well, she was a brewer, but now since she's married, she's a Bogart. Her son Basil became a toddler successfully, and Lettuce also became a child successfully. Gunther Stenson's children, who are actually living between both of those brewer line households, his children both had birthdays today. So his oldest daughter, Esperance, became a child successfully, and his youngest daughter, Inez, became an infant. Nearby them, Emmeline Jacobson, who is one of Richard's daughters, became a toddler successfully as well. However, Sarah Hagen failed her role because, of course, she did, because she's a Hagen. But we were luckily able to save her. Olivier Amboise, Beatrix's son, became a child successfully. However, in terms of the Barry family, which were the Flores family, while their oldest daughter, Leonore, became a child successfully, the younger daughter, Blanca, failed her role. And I have decided to let that family go. I know that we made a trade a long time ago to save their legacy, but as the years have gone on, I'm just not that invested in them. I'm not that interested about visiting with them. And so I didn't plead for Blanca. I just let her pass away. Her parents and her family are in neighborhood stories and they can have more children. They're not blocked from having more children. So they can choose to carry that forward if they want to. And in the future, we might see their family in the background. But for now, like they're out of my hands and that's up to them. Another family I've decided to let go of are the Woodhamses. I'm controlling the de Fenwick still, which is Joan's family. She's the oldest of the Woodhams children. But the Sims who live at that old lot that we used to go to all the time, I've decided to let them go, but just in case we need them again in the future, their oldest child, Kira Woodhams, became a teenager today. She rolled to marry and to have 8 baby tries, but unless things go horribly wrong, I don't plan to follow them anymore. So, anyways, I hope that you've enjoyed this part. As always, let me know your thoughts and ideas in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye, everyone.
Aw. Yanifel, Sahibsa, ugh, Kane Moobsna.
Sa?